It's time to run the gauntlet, jumping through hoops, jumping through gaps. The, oh god, I hope this person sort of knows how to do platforming encounter of the Leviathan raid. Team composition is very open here, with nothing in particular ever really being needed due to the nature of the encounter. Solar elemental damage is preferred to take down Centurions, but even that is a loose recommendation and isn't really needed unless you want a tiny extra bit of damage. Weaponry also did not matter too much for combat. A shotgun worked fine here for killing the Centurions, which aren't too threatening to begin with. However, a scout rifle is really going to help for reasons I will explain. We'll talk about the mechanics first, then discuss how to set up your teams. To start the fight, jump on each plate in each quadrant. There's 4 of them total. For the first minute or so, you'll have a bunch of enemies spawning from side doors. Just get rid of them. After a short time, a Centurion will spawn, in which case shortly after, the psionic charges will be ready, which signals the start of the gauntlet. All enemies should be dead before running the gauntlet for no other reason other than trying to deal with enemies during the gauntlet is annoying. 2 psionic charges will appear, one in the Chalice quarter and one in the Beast quarter. When picked up, they will teleport that person into the gauntlet to run. Each quadrant will have 3 arrows, top, middle, and bottom. Running the gauntlet is a team effort where players in the gauntlet need to feed people in the middle information so that the middle team can get them through to the next part of the gauntlet. So let's explain what the people on the inside need to do. Before the fight starts, you should assign runners and non-runners. Among the 4 remaining non-runner players, split into groups of 2 and assign them to a runner. Then, within those groups of 2, assign a plate activator and a scion killer. Then again, assign each person another role of top arrow or bottom arrow. I know that was a lot, let me explain. When the Gauntlet Runner is sent in, the plate activator should jump on top of the plate of where the psionic charge was picked up, but the scion killer does not also need to be on the plate. Standing on the plate will disable the shields blocking the arrows from being shot and will also activate one specific ring in the gauntlet. The Gauntlet Runner should see one of the rings in the 3x3 grid lit up as red. This is important for 2 reasons. 1, it is representative of the arrow that should not be shot, and 2, it is the ring where a bonus charge will be located. So, the Gauntlet Runner will call out which row has the lit up ring. Let's say it's middle. The runner will then call out middle, or whatever your call out might be, signaling to the 2 players on the outside to shoot the top and bottom arrows and not the middle. Note that both runners will be going at the exact same time, so players need to listen to their assigned runner very specifically. This is where that top arrow, bottom arrow assignment comes into play. Whoever is assigned the top arrow always shoots the topmost arrow based on the information given, and the bottom arrow. So, if the gauntlet call is top, the top arrow shooter would shoot the mid, and the bottom arrow shooter would shoot the bottom. If the call is bottom, the top arrow shoots the top, and the bottom arrow shoots the middle. If done correctly, the arrows will light up green, and a charge will be in the ring that was highlighted in red for the Gauntlet Runner. The plate activator should start running to the right to the next plate immediately, whereas the scion killer should stand near the outside of the arena to punch the scion that spawns in. The plate activator will activate the next grid inside, and the next call will be made. The scion puncher will likely have to shoot their arrow from the previous quadrant because of the delayed spawn of the scion. This is where scout rifles come in handy. Meanwhile, the runner will essentially be running an obstacle course in the gauntlet while giving the calls to the players on the inside. Running the gauntlet is self-explanatory. Run and collect charges from the highlighted rings. Once you get 4 charges, you'll see a finish line with a final charge. Run through the finish line, do not stop at the charge. You'll then get teleported out where you run to the middle and dunk your charges and repeat the entire sequence again and again. Let's look at both perspectives as it's actually happening in real time. First, the gauntlet. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yep, grabbing.
Grab.
Going in. Middle.
Bottom.
Middle again.
Middle. Middle.
Top.
That's top striker.
Yeah. Clover, can you get the final scion? Because I'm too far
Yeah.
away. to get it.
Top.
Bottom.
Coming home. 2 more.
Yeah, Clover,
Proceeding
you get
to
the
nut
final,
and
you get the
nutting.
final scion, all the time.
Sure.
Oh my god, I'm getting overrun.
Look at this bourgeoisie. America, I'm ready. Just call it
The
whatever.
booge.
I have a lot of ads.
Okay. I'm gonna grab and
Yeah.
go.
Doink.
It is bottom.
Top. It's top. It's top.
Are you still on this?
out.
bud?
No, forget
There
it.
you go.
You're faster on the ground, by the way, Clover.
Yeah.
Punch.
That one's middle. Middle.
Trying to get like a clip of leopard shooting the or punching the dude.
Bottom again.
That one's middle again.
Good job.
As you do. Good, dude.
Top.
That one's gonna be
Get the last
bottom.
one, Fitz.
Bottom.
Yep,
bottom.
I got it.
Good. Number 4.
Sound dead. Need primary ammo, like you can't save them.
Nut. Alright,
Double
nice
good.
job. One mower. Alright, this is not nearly as complex as I thought it was going to be. In the following runs, Callus will raise the stakes to make things a little bit harder based on how much charge the center console has. When the stakes are raised the first time, a bunch of the floor in the gauntlet has been removed, so you need to be much more aware of where you jump and land. When raised a second time, the pillars will shake up and down periodically in an attempt to mess up the players shooting the arrows. The main thing that will kill you in the gauntlet is not picking up more energy for your scion charge. Charges are only stable for so long, and if you go too long without grabbing one, you will just explode. When enough charges have been placed into the center console, a charge will appear for everyone in the middle, and everyone should grab them to go run the gauntlet together. You'll have 1 minute and 30 seconds to run this, which is more than enough time, but the main problem you'll run into is everyone getting through it without dying. In order to not explode, you need energy charges, those silver blobs that the Gauntlet Runners were getting. If you go more than 2 3x3 grids without an energy blob, you are going to explode. When everyone runs the gauntlet, there are only 4 energy orbs per grid, so you'll need to alternate who is able to get charges so that everyone is able to run the entire thing. For example, players 1, 2, 3, and 4 will grab the charges on the first wave, then players 1, 2, 5, and 6 on the next. 3 and 4 need energy on the third wave, so they grab it there along with 1 and 2. Then 5 and 6 on the fourth wave, then 3 and 4 on the finish line. You also need to slam enough energy into the center console in order to beat the encounter. So only having one person or 2 people with low energy may not do the trick. Calling out which circle your team is going to leap through is also a large exercise in communication and means not jumping through a hoop that someone else needs to go through. The Gauntlet does not feature a lot of combat, but instead requires a lot of communication and teamwork in order to get through it. If you keep communication clear, then you should be through this in no time and can head off to the final encounter. I'll see you there.